Hey everybody, my name is Seppi, and today we're going to be talking about the Xbox One X. I'm super excited for this console, and we've recently just got some new information about it. So a couple days ago on Twitter, Xbox posted a list of official specs, so things people have been speculating about for a little while. So I'll just go over it. So the tweet says power plus speed plus compatibility equals the Xbox Series X, 12 teraflops and so much more. So it's a thread here. So if you go down, it says with Xbox Series X, power means games that look incredible and feel alive. 12 teraflops, we've heard about that before. Custom RDNA 2 and Zen 2 processor, variable rate shading, hardware accelerated DirectX ray tracing. So a lot of specs here. We'll kind of hit on a couple of them specifically, but not spend too much time on all of them. If you scroll down a little bit, it says custom build SSD, quick resume for multiple games, dynamic latency input, HDMI 2.1, auto low latency mode, variable refresh rate, and 120 frames per second support. So obviously the big ones there are the new SSD, so it's going to be super fast. HDMI 2.1, don't know specifically what that means, but it is interesting to see an update on the HDMI, probably to support like the 8K or whatever they're saying, and then also the 120 frames per second support. So that's going to be very good. Now, if we actually click on the article, it goes into a little bit more detail on these specific things. So we're going to go over just a couple of them here. And keep in mind, a lot of this is just kind of like tech mumbo jumbo. And I'm sure if you're watching this video, you're following a lot of that stuff, so you understand what it means. But they do a good job of explaining what it means in this article here. And the big thing, though, we'll get to is kind of at the end. So if you stick around, you'll kind of see exactly why I'm super excited about the Xbox. And keep in mind, I'm an Xbox fan. I'm also a PlayStation fan as well. So I'm excited to see what PlayStation has to offer. But as we'll talk about in a little bit, they don't have much as far as things they've released yet, besides the, earth-shattering logo design. So to start off with this article, it kind of goes over some things. The future of gaming has never been more inspiring. Creativity in games is flourishing. New services empower you to discover more games and bring you closer to the games and creators and streamers you love. So they're talking a lot about, this being an ecosystem, a community. And before we get started on this, that's actually, so Phil Spencer has recently said in an interview that he doesn't necessarily, while he respects Sony and Nintendo, a little bit of shade, he doesn't necessarily see them as the competitors. He sees, Amazon and Google as more of the competitors because they're more focused on the ecosystem of games as opposed to just the hardware, while Xbox is flaunting, some pretty good hardware. So let's get into that. So yeah, this is talking a little bit more about that ecosystem. A superior balance of power and speed. Compared to the previous generation, Xbox Series X represents a superior balance of power and speed in console design, advancing on all technological fronts to delivering amazing, dynamic living worlds and minimize aspects that take you out of the experience. So again, they're talking more about, keeping you enveloped, really kind of hearkening on, that immersive experience that Xbox does always strive for. Now we're getting into a little bit more of the specs. So next generation custom processor. Xbox Series X is our most powerful console ever, I sure hope so, powered by our custom design processor, leveraging AMD's latest Zen 2 and RDNA 2 architecture, so that's very good. Delivering 4 times the processing power of an Xbox One and enabling developers to leverage 12 teraflops, give me all them flops, of GPU, graphics processing unit performance, twice that of an Xbox One X, and more than 8 times the original Xbox One. They're talking, just how powerful this console is. They start with the power, and then they kind of go into a little bit more about why it makes it powerful. Variable rate shading, so VRS. Our patented form of VRS empowers developers to more efficiently utilize the full power of the Xbox Series X. Rather than spending GPU cycles uniformly to every single pixel on the screen, they can prioritize individual effects on specific game characters or important environmental objects. So what they're saying there is, say you're in an open world game and you're talking to a character and the camera's kind of on that character, and there's obviously mountains in the background or trees in the background that aren't on screen and don't need to be rendered. This is what I'm assuming they're talking about. So basically they're only going to be, super fast processing, diverting GPU power to what is necessary on screen. Hardware accelerated DirectX ray tracing. So ray tracing, there you go. That's one that's been speculated on for a little bit, and ray tracing is just a more dynamic and real-time way to get reflections and shadows. So this also talks about real-time acoustics as well. So not only are the reflections and shadows going to look really good, but you're going to hear things acoustically appropriate. So not this doesn't necessarily mean that every game is going to do this, but it gives developers the option who have the technology to do that, to make more real surround sound acoustics, more realistic shadows and reflections. All right, so moving on here, we got SSD storage. With our next generation SSD, nearly every aspect of playing games is improved. Game worlds are larger, more dynamic, and load in a flash. And fast travel is just that, fast. This one is very interesting. So quick resume. The new quick resume feature lets you continue multiple games from a suspended state almost instantly, returning you to where you were and what you were doing without waiting through long loading screens. What I'm assuming this one means is if you stop the game and turn off the console, you can like really quickly get right back into it without, having to load up the game, taking forever. Sometimes it takes a minute or two for a game to get loaded. I've never had too big of an issue with that. I know they got to show you the company and the title cards and everything, but at the very least, I'm assuming this means maybe at the very least, if you quit and go back to the menu and you hit continue game, you don't got to wait through long loading screens. It's just going to immediately put you right back where you were. So say you're playing a game like Halo Infinite and you go back to the menu, and assuming Halo Infinite's going to be an open world game, and then you load back in, it's going to take really quick, near an instant. Now, one of the more interesting ones that I'm excited about, HDMI 2.1 innovation. We've partnered with the HDMI Forum and TV manufacturers to enable the best gaming experience through features such as auto low latency mode, ALLM, and variable refresh rate, VRR. ALLM allows Xbox One and Xbox Series X to automatically set the connected display to its lowest latency mode. VRR synchronizes the display's refresh rate to the game's frame rate, maintaining smooth visuals without tearing. That's very important, ensuring minimal lag and the most responsive gaming experience. So, even with I have an Xbox One X right now and a PS5. When I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn on the full resolution, or when I'm playing, like a Halo game or another game on an Xbox with full resolution, there still is a lot of tearing. So it's good to see that they're going to kind of minimalize that tearing. And then perhaps the most important one, 120 frames per second support. With support for up to 120 frames per second, Xbox Series X allows developers to exceed standard 60 FPS output in favor of heightened realism or fast-paced action. So for games coming in the future, like the next Call of Duty or things like that, 120 frames per second is going to be a huge difference. Might even give you a competitive edge. I'm going to go ahead and say will give you a competitive edge. So look forward to that. That's going to be very good. Again, not every developer is going to be doing that, but it is going to be something that will be done, and it's going to be awesome. Now we get into some interesting things here. So 4 generations of gaming. Our commitment to compatibility means existing Xbox One games, including backward compatible Xbox 360 and original Xbox games, look and play better than ever before. So Xbox One X is going to be backwards compatible, and in a second I'm going to talk about how Xbox in general is going to become forwards compatible. But the Xbox One X is going to be backwards compatible, and it's even going to make games you play. So say you go to play what is that one game where you're on the water, you're on all those boats? I can't remember it. I'll find it and I'll show it on screen here. But say you're playing an old game like that. No, it's not going to bump up the game to look like a next generation game, but it will have higher resolution and smoother frame rate. So that's good to know. And then perhaps one of the most interesting things that is unbelievable, and I think will really, really set the standard for next gen consoles going forward, smart delivery. This technology empowers you to buy a game once and know that whether you are playing it on Xbox One or Xbox Series X, you are getting the right version of the game on whatever Xbox you're playing on. We're making the commitment to use smart delivery on all our exclusive Xbox Game Studios titles, including Halo Infinite, ensuring you only have to purchase a title once in order to play the best available version for whichever Xbox console they choose to play on. This technology is available for all developers and publishers, and they can choose to use it for titles that will be released on Xbox One first and come to the Xbox Series X later. That is amazing. So what that's essentially saying is, say for someone like me who might not be able to necessarily buy the Xbox Series X as soon as it drops, I'm going to get Halo Infinite as soon as it drops. And then maybe next year I'll get the Series X and I'll just be able to keep the same game and just start playing Halo Infinite on the Series X. More replayability. The multiplayer is going to look better, probably run smoother. So that is a huge incentive to get the Xbox Series X. Say you can't afford it right now, you don't have to rebuy the games you've already bought if you are looking to carry them over to your upgrade. And then they talk about Xbox Game Pass. In addition to games from across 4 generations of consoles, our leading game subscription service, Xbox Game Pass, will continue to have our first-party games like Halo Infinite included at their launch. That's more good news right there, that Halo Infinite is going to launch on Game Pass. Again, even when I get the Xbox One X, I don't have to rebuy it. I don't have to get it on another service. I have it and I can just immediately start using it there. That is fantastic. All right. So with all that being said, I am super hyped about the Xbox. I can't wait to be able to buy the Xbox Series X and then upgrade all my games with it for no cost, besides obviously that of the console, which I don't believe we've gotten a price point on, but that does bring me to the PlayStation. So this is all to say that Xbox is really going in hard. This is either a power play or they're super confident or both, but I definitely think that they feel like they have some sort of edge on the PlayStation. Now, that's not me rooting for the Xbox over the PlayStation. I love the competition. I think competition is super healthy in the market, especially for video games and things of that like. But we haven't seen anything on PlayStation yet, and I am super excited to hear more about that. And you can be sure that I'll be talking to you guys more about that in the future when we get details on the PlayStation 5. I do think they are going to come out swinging pretty hard. I think that they were kind of waiting to see what Xbox had, and then they're gonna come out swinging, like I said. So we'll see what PlayStation's going to do. Now, all that being said, one final little note here. Cyberpunk 2077 has tweeted out that gamers should never be forced to purchase the same game twice or pay for upgrades. Owners of Cyberpunk 2077 for Xbox One will receive the Xbox Series X upgrade for free when available. So not only they're talking about first-party games that Xbox is doing this with, but now you got third-party games from developers, amazing developers such as CD Projekt Red, who made the Witcher series and are making Cyberpunk 2077 coming out later this year. But now they're making it so you don't even have to be an Xbox exclusive. You buy Cyberpunk 2077 on the Xbox One X or Xbox One in general, whichever one you have. And then when you get the Series X, you automatically have the upgrade. So that's amazing to know that even some developers, you don't even got to be a first-party developer for Microsoft, for Xbox. You can do this with Cyberpunk 2077 now. And I feel like that's kind of setting a standard. So more game developers might start using that as you might get some game developers who typically have no deals with either Sony or Xbox who might start being like, oh yeah, we can do that too. You buy it on Xbox One, you don't got to buy it again for Xbox Series X. So guys, I'm super excited about the console. I'm nerding out over all the tech stuff. Give me all them teraflops and the new HDMI for low latency, no tearing, all that sort of stuff. SSD, super fast, quick start, as well as being able to upgrade games to the new console for no cost other than the console itself. That is just fantastic. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Are you an Xbox fan, a PlayStation fan? Are you like me, where you're kind of a fan of both? And let me know what you think about the Xbox Series X so far. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.